hand. I was laying in the truth with my hat turned back. We caught eyes for a moment, and that was that. So I skated off as you strolled off, looking at them legs. Goddamn, they look so soft. I gotta take it from your man, that's my mission. If his love has really got to handle competition, you only knew for 5 months. Besides, you drink too much and smoke too many. And I be working out every day, thinking about you. Looking at my own eyes in the rear view. Catching flashbacks of our eye contact. Wish I could lay you on your stomach and caress your back. I would hold you in my arms and ease your fears. I can't believe it, I ain't had a crush in years. Hey, love. This is
It's 7.
I see you at the bus stop waiting every day. Your man must think it's safe for you to travel that way. And I don't want to violate your relationship, so I lay back in the cut with a crush that's a trip. Still, he can't stop me from having daydreams, tonguing you down with vanilla ice cream. Kissing on your thighs under moonlight, searching your body with my tongue, girl, all night. I wonder one day could it be simple dreams and turn into reality. Our love would come down so naturally. We would walk down the aisle of destiny. What your man get is hustle on, got your type scared. Break you off a little chunk change to do your hair. It seems to be enough to satisfy your needs, but there's a deeper level if you follow our lead.
They something pouring cologne. I keep big cookies with his hand, cause that's that fly shit. I say lace because my body got Versace taste. Rolex on my cuff, flooded with diamonds and stuff. I have a dozen hundred Benz coupe in my driveway. Tried to have it my way, the flyway. Let you bad. I should have kept it real when I was with you. Instead I dissed you, so now I miss you, true. Feels good when I'm with you. I miss you. Come back home.
Why would you say someone remove your message? That is quite strange, darling. I got some better for that. All right. So, what we have here, welcome in. I'm Goddess High Priestess Empress Alba La Panthera. Welcome in. Ace of Wands. Page of Wands. Queen of Pentacles. The portal is one way. Where one is heading is going in a different direction. Now, the thing with that is, it's definitely an energy of being at a threshold, having to make a decision. Are you going to, the way it's coming through is not so much start again, but more so get going from the reawakened version of yourself. You've gone in one direction as an idea. The one direction was just an idea. The other is taking action on it. Okay. I'm hearing use what it is that you have already. Utilize your resources that are available to you now. Okay. Energetically, what's happening is exactly the same way. I'm noticing how the chat is moving. All right. And there's a collective. Okay. There's a collective that's moving in a way where they're not even aware as to what's going on to even be on track in regards to where they are currently located at the current moment, whether this is mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And there has to be a greater awareness when it comes to the way one is moving. Doesn't matter if it's on these type of platforms, specifically in one's life as well, through your daily activities off of screens and things of that nature, being more aware and mindful as to who you are, moving from that space, along with not allowing anything or anyone around you who is not in alignment to that version of you or who you are to cause a distraction. There's a whirlwind of energetic destruction that's going to be removing those energies of distractions out of the way, which is also why it's key to not allow yourself to get involved or wrapped in any sort of confusion or distraction, because you're going to go right along with that wave. Okay? Especially right now that the moon is actually conjunct Saturn in Aries. which certainly brings a certain level of emotional pressure, restraint, maturity, and consequences around impulsive behavior. Saturn rules the bones, the teeth, structure. One thing leads into another. Being the one that moves in a certain way of impulsive behavior, acting as if one doesn't know what's going on, solely connected to ignorance. The body will feel that. The bones will feel that. The structure that keeps the body up is going to feel that. Because this is not an energy, especially with Saturn and Aries, that allows people to act recklessly. Mm-mm. So let's see. Because when Saturn is on the moon, it creates an internal pause before action. Where the system is being forced to slow down. The feeling is there, the desire is there, the impulse is there. But the system in general is being forced to slow down and ask, is this mature in a sense? Especially the fact that we're in the balsamic phase, which is connected to the soul star chakra, that energetic space above the crown, connected to karmic closure, ancestral pattern release, spiritual memory, timeline clearing. All of that, final energetic residue that must be released before the new identity can anchor. The new identity that is coming through, or the upgrade of it from Aries to now the new moon in Taurus on the 16th, has to do with your core values, your emotional security that also influences your material security, your self-worth, also your voice, the senses of your body. Because the moon right now is in Aries, this soul star activation is not soft or quiet or passive. It's going to be expressed through the body. It's not just spiritual clearing, it's karmic residue pushing through the physical body. Again, it's expressing itself through the body, through the face, through the reaction, through the instinct, through the nervous system, the urge to move, confront, separate, or initiate. Aries rules the head, the blood, the impulse, the survival response, the first move, the instinct to exist without apology. The phase that the moon is in right now in the sign of Aries, balsamic, connected to the area right above your crown chakra, soul star, is basically saying, okay, this timeline is complete. The energy of Aries now is saying, then move. The body right now is revealing where the pressure has been building, where the truth has been delayed, and where discipline is now required. Hmm. Can your actions match your value? Can your words match your body? Can your identity hold the weight of what you say you know that influences what you believe? Collective. Rhetorical question also at this point. Step out of your comfort zone. North Node, that's in Pisces right now. North Node in Pisces is an energy of surrender, having faith, the embodiment of having faith that all is well. The challenge is the snake here, shedding old skin. Interesting. With the snake being a challenge is more so, are you aware that you are designed to create your own channel, your own way of moving about life? And it's the snake in matters of plumbing that clears the passageway. The end to a tough cycle approaches full moon in Capricorn. We have the full moon in Sagittarius coming up at the end of this month, followed by the full moon in Capricorn in June, end of June. You're on the path to the end to a tough cycle. A path is a process. A path is what you do on repeat. Your motive, your discipline, your ambition, whether conscious or subconscious. Step outside of your comfort zone with recognizing you're the one that clears the path anyway, in many ways. It's the moment to stop pretending you don't know what you know. It's the time to stop pretending you don't know what you know in all areas of life. Release the old and rest. A raven shows up. Release these old suppressed ideas about the shadow, one's darkness, which causes one to not fully put it through or allow it to go through the process of integration. So that way you're not sitting here out of balance. So that way you can actually be connected to one, to the source. Whatever title it is, you're going to give that energy. Step outside of your comfort zone, release the old and rest. Stepping outside the comfort zone is realizing that for you to allow whatever this old situation or past situations are in partnerships, whatever the case may be, ideas, ways of doing things, you're the one that has to decide that you're going to stop moving in a certain direction. 333 on the timer. As we started this over, this will be the third time we're on it now. be graceful in movement and action. With the praying mantis and a dragon in the back, the yin and yang. Praying mantis is an elusive enigma type of energy, but also one who can read between the lines perfectly. It's time to stop ignoring what you already know, or stop moving as if you don't know. Snake, ravens, and dragons could be of high significance here. Gratitude. Let's see what this is. The body first energy, as far as information that comes through, it's not the theory, it's not obviously the overthinking, it's not spiritual performance. The body is revealing once again where the pressure has been building, where the truth has been delayed, and where discipline is now required. Some of you have been having headaches, sinus pressures going on, things going on with the shoulders, tension in that area, because you're carrying, too much of a lesson that has now been ready to go through the next phase. Especially the way you perceive your reality, Mercury or the sun. It's been exposed to you, the way you perceive reality. And what's been exposed is something that you've learned growing up that you have to release, or else you'll never be able to encounter the reward from a Three of Swords energy, from going through, significant partnerships that seem as though it's a repeated lesson over and over and over again. And the reason why a lesson keeps repeating is either because of one or both parties are still doing something that is connected to the way that they grew up, and it's no longer them anymore. However, there's a new dawn that's rising. One is in a position of breaking a certain tradition, as what you see with this figure here that's laying on the ground is holding the same symbol as the Hierophant would. And the Hierophant is the Taurus card. That has to do with your voice, the senses of your body, knowing to go in a certain direction because it uplifts you, and knowing when to leave a situation because it drains you. Two of Wands, Mars and Aries. Let me see. It's still there at 26 degrees, which is a Taurus degree. One side, the way that we saw the Ace of Wands in one direction, the Page of Wands in another. The Page of Wands is the group of people who know exactly as to what they are supposed to do when it comes to living a life that is based off of who you know yourself to be and not who you were told or taught to be. Okay? The Ace of Wands side are those who have reawakened probably for the umpteenth time. But now you're making the moves that you're supposed to make based on the value of yourself. Page of Wands is the idea of going towards something because it inspires you, but the Ace of Wands is on some, I'm going to start this journey. Yeah, see? Two sides to it. No longer going towards situations based on a false gut instinct, where this tends to happen when you've gone through a repeated lesson over and over and over again, accepting crumbs. This is now where you balance your emotions. And with this red color here, reflecting the root chakra or Saturn, Saturn's on some of you could have Saturn in a earth sign is what I'm getting to though. Well, that's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. One thing from another to another. Make sure y'all taking deep breaths, full inhales and full exhales. Because it's given. Before you make a decision, make sure you're breathing. Okay. Full inhale, full exhales. But anyway. No longer participating in the field that is choosing to not live a life that is of life. Just because it has been established doesn't mean that's something you should be continuing on with, especially if it no longer aligns with you. Whoever. Yeah, self-sabotage. In order for you to make the best decision for you, you have to trust yourself. Don't be listening to what other people suggest, and most people don't even know themselves to begin with. It's not to say that someone who is not in the position that they would desire to be in doesn't mean that they don't have the aptitude or the ability to be able to, advise. It takes a very strong, mindful, mature, wise person to do that. While on the way towards a specific goal or at a certain level of a goal, they also still do have the ability to assist another. That's not many though. So the message with that is be mindful as to who it is you're going to seeking advice from. Trust yourself first. Also, to stop comparing yourself to someone else's reality. Because at times, most people comparing themselves to someone else, comparing themselves to a person that's not even enjoying their life. It looks great from the outside, but within, there's nothing there. There's no life there. Jupiter and Libra, Jupiter and Gemini. Before something can flourish or before you step into a new cycle 733, this is it, where you have to release everything that is just not, basically not making the cut. Eight of Wands, communication. Mercury and Sagittarius. So on some what's understood doesn't have to be explained type of energy. Mercury is very precise. Sagittarius could be expansive, looking at the bigger picture. Mercury is looking at the details. So there's a lot of downloads, dreams, information that's coming through quickly to change your reality. I heard a dynamic quickly. $288 showing up. This is the moment for you to step outside your comfort zone, which is being in a position of power, making sure you are aware that you're the one that clears the path. But you're gonna have this is something. What's this that has to be released? We got the Sun card here, Leo. What's this that has to be released? The Chariot. The Chariot represents Cancer energy too. This could be, for some of you, this has to do with the vehicle. You keep fixing a vehicle. You're holding on to something that's actually slowing you down. Or something in regards to a method of moving forward. You're using a certain, this could be an emotion you're still holding on to. Cancer, the moon, emotional memory, ancestral memory. This is an ancestral pattern that has to be released. Because the Emperor sitting here in this chariot, and then you see these two Sphinx as what moves the chariot, but they're both seated. There's no movement. However, wow, this doesn't usually appear the way it is right now, the way I'm about to express this, but this is someone holding on to the reins, but moving nowhere. You're just holding on for dear life and it's moving nowhere. A heartbreak, Three of Swords, what's behind it? The Strength card. Leo could be a significance, fifth house. Something is not in alignment when it comes to what it is that you enjoy and the people that you've been around or dating or have some sort of way of just being around a certain group of people. As the saying goes, tell me who you with and I'll tell you who you are. Dime con quién anda y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you with and I'll tell you who you are. Because it's the energy of what you are accepting to be in your environment. You can have a whole different view on life, but you have people living in the opposite view of that. And that's your circle. At some point, you're going to embody the same energy that is against what it is that you're actually moving towards, which is self-inflicted, unconscious ways of connecting to energies that are not in alignment to you. 737 as I'm saying that. 744 up there, 1744, 43 up there. Let's see. King of Pentacles in the full card. See, so these are amazing cards. If I was just to read this without everything else on the table right now, this is somebody taking a leap of faith because they know exactly who they are. They know their worth and they're going straight toward that. And every move they make thereafter is with precision. But the fact that we saw the Six of Pentacles before, and then you had that higher being energy or Saturn making sure things are disciplined and well structured, showing you, oh, you know you're being fed crumbs right now, right? It's a lot of yellow here. Solar plexus energy, which in yoga is ruled by Mars, but you can also connect it to the sun as far as the color. So when it comes to the use and action of your willpower, it has everything to do with, are you in alignment with your soul? Is your soul at the forefront, or is your ego still taking the reins? There's that. Because as mentioned in the previous message, a lot of people are in a position where they're having to, it's not even so much analyze, is to move accordingly when it comes to making decisions. Either it's connected to the version that has evolved, or you're still protecting the wounded version of yourself, which is why it's important to be mindful as to who and what it is that you're surrounding yourself with, because it's going to become you. I don't care how well versed someone can be. Show me who you with, and I'm going to show you exactly who you are. Which is also where betrayal happens often. You're saying one thing, telling your body one thing, but you're putting it in the experience of something completely different. The same way you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to make this today, or I'm going to do this workout, I'm going to send this message today, and you don't do it. That's just building self-betrayal and self-deception at the most ultimate level. And of course, the universe can only do but one thing: continue to show you that in your reality. Now, this is also where people who do that, when they come across an experience where the universe is actually granting them a key to a different passageway, they refrain from shedding that old skin or recognizing that it's up to them. And this whole plumbing scenario is an example to be the snake that removes the clog. In a practical sense, you may come across the people as someone who's selfish, or you don't desire to be around certain people, and that's okay. Actually, what's happening is, from a more, esoteric or metaphysical factor and aligning it with the practical, you're being a version of yourself that's clearing all the shit out. And if not, this is where people in the physical sense, the body begins to dysfunction. You're holding on to too much shit, literally and figuratively. And there goes the Page of Wands again. This whole time sitting at the bottom of the deck. Subconsciously, it's a great idea. Consciously, it's also a great idea. However, are you bold enough to go towards exactly what it is that's destined for you? Or are you going to sit there comfortable with the same shit that keeps showing you the same cycle? And then here's another part to that, Well, let's say you're in a situation and you've been constantly blamed for moving a certain way. And you, as that person that's been blamed for moving a certain way, you have gone through the shadow work. You're someone who knows how to operate in the dream state. Shit, you're over here watching this message. I already know what type of time this part of the message is going to. Where this is the last time where you go through a particular cycle in your life where now you're actually seeing it exactly for what it is. Now, there are major consequences for the person who chooses to exchange in that energy with you and feeling as though that you are the reason as to why something doesn't grow. But because of the shadow work you've done and you being more aware of yourself, now it's much easier for you to see, huh, okay, I see exactly what this is. This is why people have to be mindful with, you know, playing with people's time and energy as if they can actually play that game and survive that game. Not with someone that's tapped in, you're not. Mm-mm. This is also why I desired for people to know astrology, because if you gonna be the type of person that fuck with people, at least know when to do it, where the consequences ain't gonna fuck you up and your generations before and after. Because one is not choosing to listen, one is choosing to just be in this. I tell you this shit all the time. Anything that you have to chase is because it's running from you. If you got the speed, the stamina, endurance, there's a sport for that. There's a sport for that. Okay? Even when it comes to your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, your money, you're not supposed to be chasing none of that shit. Alignment is what's supposed to be happening. And then once you realize you don't have to work hard to be successful, that's when that alignment just comes from every which way and direction that's beneficial to you. $744 is significant. That's connected to the lion, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. Sheesh. The chat is slow on the phone. Hold on. Yeah, lions. 744. Connected to lions. Let me look at when the moon is in Leo, because the Leo energy is really strong right now. So let's see. Technically, my sign is Ophiuchus. You can start there. I'm a life path 22, a projector in human design. If you're going to ask the question that way, I know why you asked it that way, too. Let me do something. Really nice Sagittarius, Sun, Virgo moon, Cancer rising. Born the year of the dragon at that. Being wise for this world is an understatement at this point. Just here to remind you who you are. That's all. Leo. Yeah, really got to get out your head. You're giving the works of the heart to your brain, and that's not its function. May 21st to the 23rd. That makes sense. The moon will be in Leo then, but that's when the sun goes into Gemini and Uranus in Gemini. Oh shit, that's actually when everything opens up even more in terms of the way one is communicating with their thoughts, the way they think, the way you process information, the way you speak. Some of you, your recalibration is coming through ascension symptoms of the shoulders. You could be feeling a lot of tingling sensation because it's rewired. You're being rewired. And then Mercury goes visible on the 23rd. Yeah. Okay, let me look at it. And it's the first quarter. The moon being Virgo by then, though. The main message is tell me who you with and I'll tell you who you are. Within the next 10 days, that's very important for you to be mindful of. Because this is not the season nor the age nor the reality, the realm, dimensions to be sitting here moving the same way you move, I would say 2 years ago. And it made sense. Because there's going to be a lot, especially Gemini's connected to the media. It's going to be so much that gets pushed out into a media, social media, TVs, whatever, that's going to have people in their heads worried all over again. That's all it takes to make somebody crumble. A lot of times people have a lot to say. Y'all supposed to be talking to people too. Creating your own channel. But that's the wound of being desired to be seen. So the playtime is done. Peace and wholeness, Goddess. Blessings and love to you, Panthera Soul Maisha. Why would you cry? Gratitude. See something. Yeah. Show me the 21st and 23rd. What's this? I'll see what comes out again. Because if that's the case. Let's see. Ascendant, rising. Ready Player One. You have to be more aware of the game that you're playing. You have to be more aware that you're the one in control of the controller in your hand. You. What's this? Year of the Dog, 94, 2006, 82. October could be a significance. Show me May 21st to the 23rd. You get a few of them. And just Tuesday. Got the cool going up. So from the time that the moon is in Cancer, That's the sacral chakra, and the moon will be in Cancer during the time that's in the moon will be in Cancer during the sacral chakra moon phase, waxing crescent. So, wow. Everything you feel during that time, 21st to the 23rd is significant because of the 19th and the 20th. What you feel then, what about that? What you feel then, show me that. Electric service activate bond. Let me see. The red blood clan. In regards to galactic signatures, generating the blood as a power of life force, transmitting blood as power of transformation or death, energizing blood as the power of accomplishment, protecting the blood as the power of elegance, climaxes of the blood as the power of universal water, because through the power of universal water, blood becomes truth. Rhythmic. What's the galactic signature today then? People just be appearing so zombified, if that's even a word. Very interesting that this is actually what this is then. Blue crystal eagle, kin 155. 155 is also the ace of swords, mental clarity despite adversity, which is having to do with the shedding of old skin, releasing the past, releasing the old and resting. The solutions to your problem not going to come from other people or something external to you. It comes from the inner decision. You tell yourself enough, then enough, and you actually move from that notion itself. It's a blue eagle day, which reminds you to step powerfully into your commitment as a planetary server. Your assignment includes whatever furthers your personal evolution and the evolution of the global mind. You are an awakener, transformer, and empowered global visionary. In your vision, you have compassion for others, and your decisions are made in the light of global consciousness. Ask yourself how you might experience compassion towards self, the earth, and others. Self is first. So you're not confusing the way you move with that when it comes to others. Be guided towards types of work, relationships, places to live, and projects that will benefit the earth and her creatures. Allow your spirit to expand. So the heart chakra. 757. This is given deja vu, not deja vu. Remembering the memory of a memory. Why is that so significant to the time that Gemini enters? 21st to 23rd. Cosmic, rhythmic, electric. You have a presence that is cosmic, that's being activated, which is also transcending certain alignments, certain bonds, especially if it's not balanced. You have solar prophetic here. Solar prophetic embodies the energy of foresight and illumination, the essence to see ahead. radiating transformative energy to inspire or guide others, serves as a channel for cosmic wisdom, shedding light on hidden truths and guiding collective or individual evolution. The goal or the galactic signature energy is to reflect spiritual essence, purpose, and relationship with the cosmos. This is about to get quite weird, very supernatural, the way you're about to do this, the rest of this message. Obviously. Okay, so it's giving me too many of these. This is why I tend to separate them. You've been in a situation too many times, which is why now it's being separated. There's that. You could be a Saturn in Sagittarius, the philosopher of sacred law, truth bearer, path revealer. When Saturn is in Sagittarius, though, it becomes a teacher of universal law and spiritual expansion. You ground cosmic wisdom. What is going on right now? You ground cosmic wisdom into doctrine, devotion, and a structured path of higher knowledge. You walk with truth as a compass. If you feel lost, if you feel as though if you feel lost, anxious, unable to move, you're just not living your truth. That's basically the message there, because you walk with truth as a compass. Saturn in Sag, which is also the Ten of Wands energy when we look at the tarot here. Look at that new moon, which is approaching. That's your cue to watch the previous live in regards to watch this before the new moon in Taurus, May 16th, along those lines. Very significant to the next 30 days or a month in regards to changes that are coming through. Halfway there is around the 23rd of that 1 month energy. The scarab. Transforming distorted memory into sacred direction. Root chakra, solar plexus, Akashic compass. Turning karmic debris into alchemical gold, lead to gold. This is a repeated message right now in so many ways. Turning lead to gold. But it's up to you. That's the works of the alchemist. It's up to you to transcend what's going on right now. You could also be born the year of the dragon, 2088-76. There goes Leo showing up again, though. Affirmations, but it shows up in reverse. Until you align with the truth, you trust yourself. Those affirmations are just words that you're saying. They're not. Yeah, Three of Swords, Saturn and Libra. Especially if it has to do with significant partnerships, one-on-one. I just heard what you see is what you get. Trust the actions, not the words. This is giving the vibe of a Sagittarius, and Sagittarius, we are amazing when it comes to building the fucking RICO case on people. And then people wonder why we make certain moves. It's the same notion of what you give a woman, she multiplies. What you feed or don't feed, your intuition grows. That could be a lack of growth too. It multiplies. Multiplying the lack of growth. That's what it's time to get out of. Saturn in Leo teaches the path of ego refinement, to shine not for attention but for soul expression. You carry the responsibility of visibility and inspire others to sovereign example. As a Saturn in Leo, your lesson or the reward is that you realize that you create in devotion and your radiance is disciplined fire. The royal pillar of integrity, Saturn in Libra, or being born the last 10 days, 10 to 19 days into Libra season. This could also be significant. Saturn in Libra, commitment and karma and partnerships. The balancer of sacred contracts, gift, has to do with karmic harmony and justice. As a Saturn in Libra, or the Three of Swords energy, is a message letting you know that you hold the keys to divine justice, soul agreements, and sacred reciprocity. Your life teaches how to create fair structures and balanced relationships rooted in integrity and clarity. Not that fool bullshit. You sitting here wondering, once you get into a position where somebody got you wondering and you've done your shadow work, that's basically your test of, okay, so what you gonna do this time when you've done all you could in that situation? And it still does the same thing, but the only difference now is that you are realizing where the fault line is, where the crack in the foundation is. And it's not anything for you to rebuild. Because you can only say as much as you can, to a person to get them to shift. It's up to them to make those shifts and make those changes. So the affirmation for Saturn and Libra: I weigh love on the scale of truth. I restore harmony through the laws of light. Intelligence is simplifying the complex. That's your message for 1717. Follow the voice of your heart. Leviathan. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay? Because with that being said, before I get into this Leviathan message, it's all that Libra energy. I'll be right back. Not the Leviathan, but... All right. Oh, sweet old Leviathan. I'm back. Severe consequences are inevitable. Something regarding the father side, South Node energy, or having to do with an energy that is your father's sun sign, and it has a connection to your South Node. Let me move this shit. Okay. All right. So the Leviathan, the guardian of the abyss, embodiment of the threshold between the known and the unknowable, standing at the edge of creation's waters where spirit breathes order into chaos. Keeper of primordial waters is also another characteristic of this. Mirror of the soul's depths, unplumbed depths where you or one is asked to confront what lies beneath the surface, such as fears, what lies beneath the surface of desires you're unable to connect to, what lies beneath the surface of forgotten lifetimes, ancestral patterns. This thing keeps showing up. This whole connection between the snake and plumbing, clearing out the channel, clearing out the path by reclaiming hidden parts of the soul. The alchemical function of the Leviathan is where the ego dissolves, illusions are being disintegrated, and what is false cannot survive. As far as keeper of primordial waters, this is the memory of the first ocean, the womb, where galaxies gestated, which is why is a very significant importance in regards to the 19th and the 20th with this energy. I just heard this is where the downloads and the uploads are happening immediately. Something in connection to solar flares as well. Galactic karmic, which has to do with energetic imprints or lessons that a person carries from their soul's journey across lifetimes, including connections to cosmic energies or star origins. Lessons learned through the soul's past. This reflects spiritual essence, purpose, and relationship with the cosmos, transcending karmic lessons. I just heard this is now or never, all or nothing, here and now. Switch. Saturn and Capricorn. Shout out to my fellow Saturn and Capricorn vibes. Make sure you're tuned in with your human design here, collective, especially if you're a Gemini or a Virgo. You could be a generator in human design, designed to build, highly enthusiastic. It's important for you to have bodily wisdom. Saturn and Capricorn, mastery of time and self-responsibility, the elder of earthly order. The gift of a Saturn and Capricorn holds the legacy, mastery, and timeless structure. This is Saturn at home, disciplined, refined, enduring. You are encoded with the gift of sacred leadership, long-range vision, and the power to create structures that outlast lifetimes. Which is why, if you're here, that's exactly why you showed up here. Especially for those of you that are natural born leaders and you're sitting there doing things behind the scenes. When it comes to seeing your vision clearly, doesn't matter how far or close it may be, it's almost as if it's non-existent to you. And if it is something you can see, you just haven't taken action on it. I don't know what the fuck you waiting for. Saturn in Capricorn statement is, I am the root and the summit. I climb not for glory, but to raise the earth. If you are someone who also has Saturn in Capricorn, you can come across to people as quite bossy, but you know what the fuck you talking about. Let people feel what they gonna feel, think what they gonna think. They ain't none of your business. Let it be their business, and it's something they gonna have to handle. Sometimes they may have to handle that shit with interest. What they say, it's just business. Gratitude for tapping the live, y'all. For hitting up that thumbs up energy button. Let me see what else I got coming through here. Because once the Leviathan come through, oh wait, yeah, time's up, all right. Remove yourself from anything that prevents you from being the love. Anyone who can't handle your truth the way you express yourself, 818, as I'm saying this, remove yourself from that. Anyone who makes you feel as though you can express yourself fully, where you can have a conversation with them, but you'll know the difference when you're free to just express yourself. Some of you give that energy off to people because you're that type of leader. You're someone who guides. But then there are instances where that person is not able to reciprocate that back to you. Especially when you are a high caliber, type of guide or advisor or consultant, whatever the case may be, in whatever field it is that you're doing this in. An important key for you is to be able to make sure you know the difference of those you can, that license plate says rebel. Those that you can have a conversation with the same way they feel open and free to have a conversation with you. People become clear when you are around, but do you feel as clear when they are around? Because it's very easy for you to just settle. Doesn't mean you should, though. 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's time to revise, do inventory when it comes to your worth and the way you're sharing that with other people. Discernment, general prosperity, the deliverance of prisoners. Exactly. You literally set people free. And this is a 57, angel number 57. Well, pre-archangel actually, which is a 12 or 3. But 12 has to do with Pisces energy. The house of Pisces, surrender, North Node is in Pisces. But the house of Pisces tells you about the area of your life that you came here to undo yourself from. Undo yourself from. Someone else is not going to do this for you. You have to do it yourself. Okay. The Sun card. Restoration of life. Protection from adversaries, rabies, and wild beasts. That is hilarious. Lihalin, Knight of Pentacles. Slow and steady, but certainly reaching the point of a solution, completion. Light of understanding acquires knowledge and cures illness. Yeah. This is it's your turn. This is your time. It's your turn. It's 8:21 right now. We was talking about the 21st. It's your turn. 8 days will be the 21st though. It's 8:21 right now. 5:13. We was talking about the 21st and 23rd. Between now and then, specifically the 19th and the 20th, you're going to be feeling at a much deeper level within your body of all these things that are not in alignment to you. They may have been showing themselves already, but now it's more so that situation when the moon is in Cancer and it's going to be in the sacral phase. You're going to see where it is that you have been stopping yourself from creating, accepting, especially when it comes to love, being able to nurture and be nurtured. High Priestess, which is the archetype of Cancer energy 44. Yeah. Success, protection from magistrates. There's something that's going on that's deeply spiritual before it shows up in the physical, which is why it's important to be mindful of those you have around you in regards to who can withstand these certain spiritual lessons and not allow themselves to be overtaken by it, where they are unable to actually be in alignment with you. Because that's usually how that is when you are someone who's tuned in and tapped in. A lot of times people may come across your path, that you can vibe with or whatever the case may be. However, there are moments when the test comes around spiritually, cosmically, energetically, however it may be, that if they're not aware of themselves, they can easily go through a situation where their perspective gets altered. And this is where from the spiritual going into the practical, where shit get fucked up. And if both parties are not strong enough spiritually, this is where you have a disruption in connections. Gabriel, literally, the moon at the bottom of the dead throat chakra energy, divine revelation, reveals messages, has the power to destroy. So, playhouse, fifth house is significant. Somebody could have a moon in the fifth house, natally. That's a channel in here of a DJ, but the playhouse, the house of play is the fifth house. There goes Leo again. Yeah, getting things in order the 19th and the 20th before the moon goes into Leo. So that you can see things clearly in regards to the way you're going to take actions in terms of aligning with your intuitive instincts. Meaning you're taking action before it makes sense, but it's actually what aligns with you. Especially in this Mars and Aries type of vibes that we was getting the message for with the Two of Wands earlier. Mars and Aries has this passion to just go towards things. I have a Mars and Aries. We can tend to go towards things and then figure the shit out later. Depending on how well one knows themselves, that risk can be a major reward. Nine of Pentacles, major reward. This is independence as well. Submission to higher order identifies traitors and destroys their plans. And it's card number 33, 44 and 33 coming up back to back. So this is the transcending of those karmic energies or karmic residue, or transcending a lesson. Karmic is a lesson. Transcending the lesson, which means now you tune into your wisdom. But now it's about you applying it. I feel as though many of you already tapped into your wisdom. It's just a matter of you applying it. So that same energy that can actually embody the fullness of the way you're actually going to utilize that wisdom or not shows up again, just to make sure you got all your grounds covered. Michael. And Nanael, 10 of Wands, Saturn and Sagittarius, yeah. Overcoming adversity. You got this. Spiritual communication, yeah. You got this. But for now, that will be the message. You're really at an hour. That's the message for this evening. I will be over on TikTok, so if you're not tuning me over there, you may, figure that out for yourself.